A shocking tragedy rocked Brazil on July 22, 2018, when 29-year-old lawyer Tatiane Spitzner was found dead after falling from the fourth floor of her apartment in Guarapuava. Her death, ruled as a result of domestic violence, sent shockwaves through the nation and ignited widespread outrage, exposing the devastating reality of intimate partner violence and the systemic failures to protect women. Tatiana's case became a powerful symbol in the fight against gender-based violence, sparking urgent demands for societal and legal reform across Brazil. More than just a victim, she was a brilliant and compassionate woman whose life was dedicated to justice and helping others. Born and raised in a close-knit community in Guarapuava, southern Brazil, Tatiana was known from a young age for her intelligence, curiosity, and determination. She excelled in school, driven by a deep desire to make a difference. Her path led her to law, where she saw an opportunity to give a voice to the voiceless and defend the rights of the vulnerable. As a human rights advocate, she worked tirelessly to promote equality and fairness. For Tatiana, law wasn't just a career, it was a calling. She fought not only for justice in the courtroom, but also to restore dignity and hope to those who had suffered. Her life, though tragically cut short, continues to inspire a movement for change. Tatiane Spitzner envisioned a future where her legacy would inspire others long after she was gone. Her life seemed full of promise, especially after marrying Luís Felipe Manvailer, a biologist and university professor. Their relationship began like a fairy tale, filled with love, shared dreams, and admiration. From the outside, the couple appeared perfect, their life marked by affection and ambitious plans for the future. But behind closed doors, a much darker reality slowly emerged. While Luís Felipe seemed like an ideal partner, charming and accomplished friends and family began noticing troubling signs. His behavior, once seen as protective, gradually revealed itself to be controlling. What started as minor red flags evolved into emotional manipulation and isolation, chipping away at Tatiana's confidence and independence. Once vibrant and full of life, Tatiana began to withdraw, her bright spirit dimmed by the toxic environment she was trapped in. Despite the growing tension, she put on a brave face, concealing her pain even from those closest to her. Her silent suffering remained hidden until the horrifying events of July 22, 2018. That night, Tatiana's tragic death exposed the grim truth behind her marriage. Security footage captured her final, terrifying hours, revealing the brutality she endured. The footage shocked Brazil and the world, becoming a symbol of the urgent fight against domestic violence. Tatiana's story, though heartbreaking, continues to ignite conversations and inspire change. The evening began with what seemed like a minor verbal disagreement between Tatiana and her husband, Luís Felipe Manvailer, as they sat in their car. But what appeared harmless quickly escalated, revealing the deep, unchecked rage simmering beneath Manvailer's composed exterior. The argument soon spiraled into violence, turning words into fists. Security footage captured the horrifying scene, Tatiana visibly distressed as Manvailer struck her repeatedly, ignoring her desperate cries for him to stop. The nightmare only worsened when they arrived at their apartment building. In the parking garage, surveillance cameras recorded a heartbreaking moment. Tatiana, terrified and desperate, tried to escape, but Manvailer dragged her back toward the elevator with force and determination. Inside the elevator, the confined space amplified the horror. Cameras recorded the continued assault Manvailer, hitting her with brutal intensity, his violence both relentless and calculated. He restrained her, overpowering every attempt she made to resist. Tatiana's cries for help filled the elevator, her voice echoing with panic and anguish. It was a chilling moment of terror that no one could stop, an unimaginable act of cruelty captured on film, now etched into Brazil's collective memory as a symbol of the horrors of domestic abuse. The sheer brutality of Luís Felipe Manvailer's assault exposed the terrifying control he held over Tatiana. Despite her desperate attempts to escape, He overpowered her at every turn. She wasn't just fighting for her life, she was fighting for the freedom she had already lost. The violence escalated rapidly, leaving visible bruises and emotional scars far deeper. Surveillance footage showed a woman consumed by fear, trapped in a nightmare she couldn't wake from. This wasn't a moment of self-defense. It was the climax of months, possibly years, of abuse. When they reached their apartment, the horror continued. Tatiane fell from the fourth-floor balcony to her death. Manvailer claimed she had jumped in despair, but forensic evidence and the events leading up to it told a different story, one of calculated violence. Her injuries, the timeline, and expert analysis strongly indicated she had been pushed. What followed was even more chilling. Cameras captured Manvailer returning to the elevator, frantically trying to clean bloodstains and cover his tracks. His actions spoke volumes, not of grief, but of guilt. He then fled the scene in a panic, attempting to escape justice. This night, captured in shocking detail by security cameras, became the foundation of the case against him. It was a haunting testament to the fatal reality of domestic abuse and a reminder that behind even the most perfect-looking lives, unimaginable horror can unfold. Around 340 kilometers from the crime scene, Luís Felipe Manvailer crashed his car in a serious accident. Police quickly arrested him and charged him with femicide, a legal term used in Brazil when a woman is murdered due to her gender. Manvailer claimed his wife, Tatiane Spitzner, had taken her own life by jumping from their apartment balcony. But the evidence told a different story. Forensic experts concluded that Tatiane's injuries were consistent with being pushed, not falling voluntarily. Security camera footage from the apartment building revealed horrifying scenes. Manvailer dragging Tatiane's lifeless body back inside, and earlier physically assaulting her in the elevator. His version of events crumbled. Witnesses spoke of frequent arguments and abusive behavior. Neighbors had heard shouting and banging from the apartment on several occasions. Tatiane had become increasingly withdrawn and fearful in the weeks leading up to her death. The signs of domestic abuse were clear. Tatiane's brutal death shocked the country. Brazil already had alarmingly high rates of domestic violence and femicide, and her story struck a nerve. Protesters took to the streets demanding justice, not just for Tatiane, but for all women suffering in silence. The case exposed deep flaws in Brazil's system, especially in enforcing the Maria da Penha law, designed to protect women from abuse. Many pointed out that protective measures often come too late or not at all. Tatiane's death became a symbol of this broken system. In 2021, nearly 3 years after the crime, Manvailer stood trial. Prosecutors presented damning evidence, security footage, forensic testimony, and witness statements describing a pattern of control and violence. The defense insisted Tatiane had jumped, but their argument collapsed under the weight of the evidence. In May 2021, the court found Manvailer guilty of femicide, assault, and tampering with evidence. He was sentenced to 31 years and 9 months in prison. It was a small measure of justice, but a powerful moment for Brazil, a signal that violence against women would not go unpunished. Tatiane's story sparked national conversations, media coverage, and widespread demands for reform. Her face became a symbol of resistance and remembrance, pushing the country to reflect on how many similar tragedies go unseen. In a rare interview, Manvailer later broke down in tears. "That man in the video. I can't believe it was me," he said. But his regret could not undo what had been done. Tatiane was gone. Her death left a scar, but also ignited a movement that still burns today. Tatiane Spitzner's case reignited national attention on Brazil's alarming rates of femicide and domestic violence. Despite the existence of the Maria da Penha law, meant to protect women and punish abusers, enforcement remains inconsistent, and resources for victims are still lacking. Tatiane's tragic death became a symbol of these systemic failures. Her story inspired countless women to share their experiences, strengthened support networks, and ignited calls for reform, education, and protection. Today, her legacy lives on as a powerful symbol of justice, resilience, and the urgent fight to end femicide and build a safer, more compassionate society for all women